Good morning. I'm Mark Allen with Gaber.io, and I'm here today with Jaden Pereira, the CEO of TyltGO. Good afternoon in your case, Jaden. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Mark. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I see you're up in Waterloo, Canada, beautiful part of the world. How are things there today?
Things good. Weather's nice. Still locked up a little bit, but all is well over here. A little bit less traffic with the students for sure.
Yeah, having spent some time there, I know your weather is about to change, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So to start with, can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Yeah, for sure. So born and raised in the GTA, so just north of Toronto, Canada. European descent, so my parents moved here before I was born. Went to school in the Toronto area, always entrepreneur at heart. So from lemonade stands to selling soap sculptures in elementary school to hats out my locker to getting really involved in the entrepreneurship community at University of Waterloo. So it's actually really big at University of Waterloo. It's really instilled in the culture here. So they have Velocity, Community Tech, AC Jumpstart. So there's a lot of different accelerators, and there's basically weekly events on the entrepreneurship space. So very involved there. In terms of work background, so I was actually a student when I started TyltGO. My past work experience was mostly in shipping and receiving. So that's kind of what brought me to start working on this project.
Interesting. So shipping and receiving, you were definitely not a remote worker then, correct?
No, definitely. I was manning everything that was going in and out of that warehouse for 2 different summers.
So that brings us to the first real question. What has been your experience with remote employment, and both as an employee and an employer?
Yeah, so I would say that it was definitely instilled into our culture in the sense that when we started the company, it was just my partner and I both working from our dorm rooms. So fully remote up until we hit about 6,000 deliveries monthly. So we were handling a lot, just the two of us, just from our dorm rooms. I would say what I've learned from working remote myself, as well as hiring remotely. So there's the business side and there's the personal side to it, and there's definitely good and bad. I would say on the good side of it is that you have access to talent globally. So that's definitely a huge advantage. It allows you to enter new markets a lot more easily and cost efficiently. So for example, we've done this with London. So we're based out of Waterloo, and we have some sales guys out in London that are working remotely. So it definitely helps there. I would say meetings are a lot more concise when they're done over Zoom. So that's definitely another big one. I would say also work-life balance. So definitely notice that when we have our team that works remotely in comparison to the team here looking at their productivity, they tend to work actually longer. So there is little breaks throughout the day, but because it's more of a work-life harmony rather than a work-life balance where they go home, now it's like, hey, I'm off my computer, they tend to work a lot more. On the bad side of it, I would definitely say there's lags in communication. And it's kind of hard to train. I would say the hardest thing I've learned from hiring remotely is training is definitely difficult to instill the culture and get them caught up.
And when you said London, that's London, Ontario, correct?
Yes, London, Ontario.
Yes, which I know is not too far from, what is it, about a half hour, 45 minutes?
It's about an hour.
Okay. Home of Guy Lombardo. I've been there. So what do you think is the future of remote employment, and what do you think can be done differently to make it more effective?
I would say that for us personally, hybrid model is the future of remote employment, in the sense that like we have very result based progress. We really just follow the results. So everybody's got their KPIs that they need to follow. And I think that people work a lot better when independent. So I'd say for our dev team, a lot of our customer service, a lot of that is going to remain remote as we go forward. I think for ops heavy and like biz devs, that would be in-house, and that's what we have right now with our model. So right now we have our biz devs and ops team in the office, and we have our devs and dispatchers and customer support and sales as well. Some of the sales reps out of the office. So I would say the future of remote work for us, hybrid model, but I do see a lot of other businesses moving to fully remote, especially as these tools start to continuously get a lot better.
Yes, and are you 100% Canadian based, or do you have anyone in the US?
So right now we're actually looking at hiring engineers in the US. So it's part of the access to global talent that you get the benefit of.
Yeah, very good. So what is the story behind TyltGO? I what do you do? Who's your target audience? All those things.
Yeah, for sure. So story behind TyltGO is quite a long one, so I'll make it into a quick little blurb. But essentially, at my last job working shipping and receiving, a lot of customers were coming in complaining delivery options too expensive, taking too long. They have to take their day off work just to pick up 1 or 2 boxes of tiles. Because I was working for a surface company, and there was this one company, actually Toolbox. I believe they're Series A now, and they're doing same day delivery for the construction niche. So I thought that was awesome. Started sending customers to them. They loved it. When I came back to University of Waterloo, noticed students, similar problem, not able to get their necessities. I had a car, everybody was bugging me. So I scraped about 42 local retailers' websites. I got permission first. Put that all up on a Shopify and started TyltGO V1, which was a consumer-facing delivery service. And then through that time, basically working on that Shopify, I was looking for a CTO. Interviewed about 65 people till I met my partner, Aaron. Yeah, it took quite a while. So that's definitely one thing about hiring is it takes quite a while. So I met my CTO, Aaron. And at that point, we had actually pivoted the model to become a white glove service. So now what we do is we provide brick and mortar retailers, e-commerce brands, D2C enterprises with same day delivery under their own brand name. So essentially they can get orders through their own sales channels and they tell us when and where to deliver and we take care of the final mile logistics.
Interesting. So it's you're solving that last mile problem. And are you kind of like what would it be, DoorDash, but for a different business site?
You could somewhat compare us to them. Difference is obviously we're not a marketplace, so we don't have that touch point with the customer. And another thing is that we don't do the point-to-point delivery, so it's not on demand. We do same day, so we actually aggregate order volume from different retailers going to the same area. So we focus on, for example, florists, meal kits, groceries, prescriptions, auto parts. We call it the quasi-perishable space. So stuff that needs to be delivered fast, it needs to be delivered every day, but not instant, like fast foods, for example.
Yeah. And are your delivery people, is that similar to the Uber model where they're, people that are looking to just make a few extra dollars and they have some, few free hours during the day?
Yeah, we have gig economy drivers.
Ah, cool. Very good. Well, I can warn you, there's a big fight going on in California right now about that. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Oh, we've definitely been keeping up with that. But with our model, to have them as employees is something that we've considered, and it does actually work if we were to switch to that.
Oh, okay.
So
well, cool. And so how did you incorporate the idea of remote at your company? First of all, how long have you been in business?
So company started in early 2019. We actually got our first office at the beginning of July of 2020. So been working remote the entire time until I think we got to about 5-6 people before getting the office, and then got the office, kept recruiting. Most of the recruits that we've had recently have been still working remote. So as I mentioned, remote work was kind of instilled into our culture and kind of built into this because that's how we came to be. Only reason we got the office was for the ops team and the biz dev team, basically for strategy planning and to deal with crisis management of the daily craziness, putting out fires and whatnot.
Interesting. You're kind of the opposite of what most companies have done. Most companies have abandoned the office during the pandemic. You've actually opened an office. You probably got a really good deal on office space, I would think.
Oh yeah, 40% off almost.
Yeah, well that is great. So the current pandemic caused basically everybody to go remote, and I would think actually that would have helped your business model. But did the pandemic cause any roadblocks or challenges that you didn't expect?
I would say for us, honestly, we got a lot of the positive side of it. So in terms of volume increasing, a large influx of driver applicants. So for us, there was really not much negatives, especially considering that we were mostly working remote in the first place. So if the office were to fully close, we would be fine to kind of go back to what we were doing before. So I'd say that we haven't had any major issues during the pandemic.
And I mean, just the nature of your business, did it actually increase during the pandemic? Because it would seem like, delivery services have increased in the last.
Oh yeah, so even talking to some of our customers and looking at order volume from the same time prior, like the year before, we were looking and seeing that about 30% increases from some of our customers just from the pandemic.
Wow, that's great. So hopefully you will continue to grow as time goes.
Yeah, it was a macro shift already in the market towards more affordable same day delivery options. And I think this definitely expedited that movement. So I think it should continue high post COVID.
And I mean, something that comes to mind offhand is like an auto repair shop, right? Where a car comes in and they need the parts delivered that day. Is that the type of thing? Is that a similar? Yeah.
Yeah, essentially the same thing there. So
And
stuff that needs to be delivered fast, but not instant. So we
that
can,
is right. So they know that they're going to get a 2017 Lexus coming in. So and they need brakes. So the somebody will bring them, and they probably bring about 5 cars worth of stuff at a time, I would think. So it's a similar model, right?
exactly.
And yeah, do you have any auto repair shops as your customers?
So we actually have one auto repair shop up the street that we just recently started working with. So my biz dev, Kareem, he actually knows them personally. So he got us working with them, but it's an industry that we're going to start digging into, because what we realize is that these guys are doing tens of deliveries on a daily basis. So that's another market that we're looking to target.
Very cool. So there's companies like Gaper that help develop, build, and scale products, especially for startups. I mean, you obviously have a development staff. How important do you think it will be going forward for you to hire or to use services like Gaper that, we provide technical help, but we provide pre-vetted, you don't have to go through 65 interviews.
Yeah, that's a huge help for startups for sure. Because I would say hiring is definitely one of the most important things that you're doing as an early stage startup, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of time, and you have to talk to a lot of people. So I would say definitely using a tool like that to help you vet those leads and get more quality leads to kind of cut down that 65 conversations maybe to something like 15, 20. It definitely helps a lot. And definitely getting that the vetting on the leads is huge, because your first hire set the bar for your organization essentially, and basically A's hire A's and B's hire C's. So you want to make sure that you're vetting them thoroughly, and getting that extra view on them definitely helps.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I understand 65 for your partner, your most important person. That is very important to get the right person for that. And it sounds like you did, since you're growing. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Jaden, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been very fascinating. Good luck, and hopefully business continues to grow.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks, Mark. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, have a great day.